doing great. I am actually in
Happy
LA.
Sunday. You're what?
I'm in Los Angeles.
What? What are you
Whoa.
doing there?
Well, I just was seeing some friends, but also it was Nick on our team's birthday this past weekend. So Nick, Gray, Naomi, Parth, a few of us were down here.
Oh, everyone on the team is hanging out without me. That's what you're doing
Exactly.
in LA.
Without me
That's
too,
right.
Paul. Without me too. There seems to be a pattern.
Rohan and I were sitting at that at the last team event. We're like, we never get invited to anything. Oh, that's amazing. How's Nick's birthday?
It was great. I mean, we should ask him. We'll ask him tomorrow. Hopefully he's at work tomorrow.
Oh,
How was
man.
your weekend?
So it was a big one, is what you're saying.
It was a good one. What were you guys up to in San Francisco?
I watched John Wick 1 and 2.
Holy crap.
Not to one up you, but 6 of one, half dozen of another. Like, it's kind of the same weekend, really. All right, should we get going?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Drum roll. Welcome everybody to the Clubhouse Weekly Town Hall. I am Paul. I'm one of the co-founders of Clubhouse. This is my co-founder Rohan, and this is our teammate Anu. And we do this every Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and we talk about what's going on with Clubhouse. So the things that we try and cover are any highlights from the week, any company announcements. We talk a bunch about the product roadmap, stuff that we've just shipped, so you know what's in your app right now, and stuff that's coming up next. And then we spend most of the time, like 40 minutes, going through questions. And so you can submit a question anytime you want. And the way that you do it is you go to clubhouse.com, and at the bottom of that page, there's a link on our homepage to submit a question for Town Hall. So people submit them all the time, and we collect the questions every Saturday, and we sort of aggregate them and make sure that we're getting to the most commonly asked questions. And then we spend most of the time today going through that. We limit it to an hour because otherwise it'll go for like 10 hours, and that's no good. We tried it before. And so we'll end by 10 a.m. Pacific time, and hopefully we'll get to all the questions. If you have any others that come up while we're talking, feel free to submit a question. You can just go to clubhouse.com, scroll to the bottom and submit it, or you can try to hit us up on the back channel. Normally I'm too long-winded and we don't get to additional questions, but you never know. Maybe one day I'll be concise and we'll get to lots more. So with that, let's bring up Steph to talk about the highlights from the week. I see the hat. I'm bringing her up. There we go.
Good morning, guys.
Steph Simon.
Hey, Steph.
I love everyone's live from, so I'm going to give my reporting live from
Where are
Las
you?
Vegas. Yes.
Oh, yeah. How was the show?
It was amazing. So I feel like if you didn't see, our Leah Lamar, the queen of comedy here on Clubhouse, she opened for Dane Cook last night here at the Cosmopolitan in front of like almost 3,000 people.
That's so awesome. And I'm so jealous that you were there.
It was pretty amazing. I have to say, there was so many Clubhouse people there that came to support her, and afterward they all stayed, and Dane and her took pictures with everyone. It was really, really beautiful to
Are
see.
you serious? That's amazing.
It was great.
That's amazing.
Rohan, I know Jen wishes she was there, I'm sure.
He does listen to Dane Cook a lot.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get going. Okay, this was a big week in news and journalism of all kinds, with continued conversations about and here on Clubhouse live from Afghanistan, as well as across a few different communities. Justin Higgins hosted a former Pakistan ambassador to the U.S. to lend some commentary, which I know I found super insightful. We also had, on the cultural side, some really great conversations in music and tech, including music executives and artists from some of the biggest labels and artist management companies, including United Masters, Beat Bread, YouTube Music, Venice, and artists like Big Crit. Really crucial resource for those looking to take advantage of the wave of democratized distribution opportunities that are shaping the industry now. Speaking of distribution, let's talk about the loss of OnlyFans? Just kidding. Sorry, I saw that joke. I had to do it. It was so good. I saw that somewhere and I was like, I'm stealing that. Anu, come on. You didn't even laugh.
hilarious. No, I'm just kidding. It was, it was really good.
Whatever. I know. Paul, I got the laugh from Paul that all the more. Easily one of this week's most discussed topics. We were fortunate to hear a number of perspectives, including journalists, sex workers, creators, and performers in the adult entertainment industry. We know that this is a complicated subject and want to thank everyone who held rooms and gave the community a place to ask questions and sound off with their thoughts. So shout out to Meezy, Josh Constein, Cindy Pham, Cindy Gallup, Bria Backwoods, Mona Devine, and loads of others.
You know, I met some people this weekend and we were talking about these rooms still. So I feel like that's a good measure if people are still talking about them.
No, hot topic. And like I said, I what I loved was the range of different rooms that talked about it. It was really great. You know, we have been loving whenever a great article is going around on the internet and people come to Clubhouse to break it down. So we got to join to such conversations twice this week. First with the amazing Wired cover story about a people's history of Black Twitter. Then again on Friday with Tony Tai hosted a room about Jeopardy's new host abruptly stepping down amid some pretty crazy scandal and scamming. And LeVar's wife, Stephanie, joined to discuss and drop a bit of tea. I feel like I say this a lot, but only on Clubhouse. Really, really. On the sports side, we had a couple notable conversations. Deandra Whitby, Ashley Grigsby, and Tashari Berry are, in fact, women watching sports. They came on to discuss the NFL preseason. There was a very meta discussion for super fans of Barstool Sports. And it was the La Liga Fam Club. They picked up on week 2 of the official season. A quick shout out. I got a couple messages after last week asking us to make sure we highlighted some more of the Spanish speaking coverage. So I want to give a shout out to Daniela Urdaneta, who sent me a bunch of programming that I'm going to start to follow and be sure that we include in highlights because we want to include highlights from all the communities. So thank you so much, Daniela. All right, let's continue on. I feel like we could talk about TED and all the great work they're doing on here every week, but I'll specifically call out the really informative and helpful discussion they held on COVID booster shots and the emerging science there with Dr. Shoshana Ungerfelder, Dr. Cindy, Dr. Jeremy Faust, Purvi Parikh, and Dr. Aya Osman, among several others. I don't know if you, Paul or Anu or Rohan, I don't know if any of you guys caught that, but it was actually, I thought, really, really insightful.
You know, man, every time you do these highlights, I'm always like, I didn't know that room was happening. And it just makes me want to go and keep working on our Discovery UI and all sorts of stuff like that, because there's so many good conversations that, like, literally I, who am working on this thing all day every day, don't even hear about.
I'll start to ping you in, Paul. No, but I do think the booster shots has been, I feel like it's a real moment right now where people are like, should I? Do I? What?
100%.
Yeah. All right, really interesting. Another meeting of the minds. Really interesting to hear a meeting of some of the great marketing minds with Gail Troberman, who is a CMO of iHeart, hosting the CMOs of both TikTok and YouTube. I think it was just super interesting for us, especially to hear from other platforms and how they've ended up turning over their brands really to the people. As they said, they're focusing entirely on community, grassroots marketing instead of big traditional campaigns. Of course, it felt like they were preaching to the choir over here for sure. And that was in the Maybe You're Not the Target room. So if you haven't caught that, it's really great. I also want to celebrate the ongoing Harvard case study series with Frances Fry. We love seeing professors and leaders from universities around the world on Clubhouse, and we're super excited. There's a special room on Tuesday with Frances and HBS professor Seidal Neely, where they'll lead us through a real-time case study on Apple's return to the office. Anu, I've got another joke for you. Is it just me? Or is this a real opportunity? I feel like I'm so inspired by Leah last night. I feel like this is a real opportunity to make like a Star Wars-esque film, like Return to Infinite Loop. Have you come on.
I'm not going to expose my lack of Star Wars knowledge here, but what I will say is, like, Kelly on our team and we were talking about, what the amazing rooms that Frances has been running is, and really just like how much she's dedicated to wanting to democratize education and how this is just a micro effort out of that macro cause that she has in mind. So I'm super excited about this, and this has been like one of the most consistent rooms, I think. And so I don't know about the joke because I'm not a Star Wars person.
But
I
come
love
on,
these
Return
rooms.
to Infinite Loop. They were talking about their return to campus anyway. Okay,
I
so I'm
need
not as
a
good. I'm
Paul
not
laugh
Leah
track
Lamar.
to
I'll
sub in
accept
for
it.
me.
I'll accept it. I'll accept it.
I have a totally different comment.
Tell
What
us,
is the UI
Paul.
that we need so that every time you mention a club, there can be a link to it that people in the room could tap on?
Ooh, so like right now, where most people are saying enjoying the conversation, join Clubhouse HQ. Instead, when I say it, they pop up. I love
We
I
need
don't
that.
even
to.
like I don't know what that would look like from a feature perspective, but that would clearly be
I
so
think
useful for
we
those
need to
folks.
bring back OG marquees where we can just like scroll across.
Yes, yes. All right, finally, as we launched our Creator First Accelerator program in late spring, we sought to identify the freshest ideas for formats and recurring program on Clubhouse. Since then, we've seen the inaugural Creator First class blossom with a slate of popular and beloved shows from murder mysteries and topics such as sex positivity, beauty and wellness, extraterrestrials, and K-pop. Um, I've spent a lot of time the last few months, and after a few solid months of development, learning, testing segments, and perfecting, we'll be hosting a Creator First Look showcase to introduce some of the world's top brands and agencies to these creators. We're super excited about it. This is going to take place on Wednesday at 10 a.m. in Clubhouse HQ. So anyone in the audience, if you've still not caught any of the Creator First program shows, please tune in. They'll be doing a quick pitch, so you'll get to hear from them. And we will be hosting sort of what we're calling our sort of season finale in 2 weeks from now, which I can't believe 3 months have passed. It feels crazy, but I really urge you to come and check it out. And that's it.
Thank you, Steph.
Thanks, guys.
Um, all right, so let's see. Couple other, I guess announcements you call them before we go into the product stuff. It's been it's been an intense week in the world, and I just want to start by giving a special thanks to all the doctors and nurses and medical professionals who've been hosting rooms around the latest COVID news and just helping people understand how to get the vaccine in their countries and how they should be thinking about these things. Um, eh, there have been a lot of really high quality rooms talking about this stuff, and we're grateful for that from the trained professionals that are out there in the community. The other thing I wanted to mention is second what Steph was talking about the people on the ground in Kabul, the reporters, the policy experts who have been helping the Clubhouse community understand the events that are unfolding in Afghanistan. Obviously, we get our news from countless outlets and platforms, but we really love to see that people interested in talking about the news are increasingly bringing those conversations here on Clubhouse. I've spent hours in those rooms this week, and I've gotten a lot out of that. On the subject of Afghanistan specifically, wanted to mention some of there are some reports this weekend about the safety actions that we'd taken in that country. What happened there, if anyone was curious, on Wednesday, we reset most of our users in Afghanistan's bios and photos, and we hid their club memberships and made it more difficult to find them in search, just as a proactive measure to make sure that they were aware of the information they were sharing and that they felt comfortable sharing that information. We notified the users of those changes in their local languages and made the changes reversible upon people's requests. But we took that because the reality is the country reset overnight, and we wanted to make sure that the users who might not be able to access their accounts or quickly change their information had a chance to reset their information too. We consulted with a lot of experts in violent extremism, experts in freedom of speech, and felt that that approach was sort of the right balance for both human rights activism and that people, the work that people are doing on Clubhouse in Afghanistan, and also something that would give them the control that they needed to just be mindful of their social media presence. The privacy, the safety of the community, it's the foundation of what we do in order to make sure that we're able to foster these important conversations. So we're going to continue working with subject matter experts on the ground there and elsewhere, and doing everything that we can for people whose lives have been impacted by the events unfolding in Afghanistan and in the future in other parts of the world. The other thing I want to mention is I just want to pass along the condolences of the whole Clubhouse team to the friends and family of Deanna Britt, who's the creator of the Real Estate Talk Club, who passed away earlier this week. I know it's little consolation, but we're grateful that Clubhouse can be a place where people can come together to remember and to mourn and to celebrate the lives of the people that they love, especially when it's a member of the early community here. So thank you to everyone who came out and came together to honor Deanna. Okay, moving on from that. I want to talk a little bit about some of the new features that we're going to be rolling out. Steph mentioned the Creator First Brand Showcase on Wednesday. We learned a lot throughout that process with that inaugural class. And so if you're interested in learning more or interested in pursuing brand sponsorships on Clubhouse, please stop by that on Wednesday. Also really excited about the launch of the Creator Commons. I knew you've been working really hard on this along with Crystal and other people on the team. We're putting together a dedicated set of resources for Clubhouse creators that we're going to be launching this week. We basically collected a ton of valuable information and tips from a lot of the top creators around Clubhouse and tried to put together step-by-step guides on how to host a show, how to build a community, how to host a one-time event, how to create a private club, more resources on creating promotional materials and third-party tools and how you can think about all these different things if you really want to grow as a creator on Clubhouse. And so we're working to roll that out, I think, this week. Is that right, Anu?
Yep. Just a few final touches to get it live.
Okay, great. And then how will people know where to find it once we roll it out?
So we're going to link it from it. I mean, we'll kind of figure out what the best way to do a blast for it is, but we're going to link it from the Knowledge Center. It's going to be linked from our website, clubhouse.com. Any of the creators that helped get the resources together, we're going to email you all so you'll know and you can share it with the community. So we're going to take a bunch of different approaches to make sure that everybody knows how to access it. And hopefully, eventually, it'll be linked directly, from the app as well. But we can talk a little bit more about that.
That's an all-out assault. That's like a woof from the office. We're going to fax you. We're going to call you. We'll show up at your desk.
We're going to tape it on VHS and mail it to you.
Okay.
I know
awesome.
I'm so happy you're putting this together and you worked so hard. I know you've really aggregated a lot of these best practices, and it's like I think this ties really nicely to the Creator First program, because I think we've seen so much of like what creators really should have, what they should be armed with in order to be able to create on Clubhouse. And so I'm really excited for this.
And
Great job.
big shout out for
Great
everybody on
job,
the
Anu.
team. Big shout out for everybody on the team who's actually helped put it together. Definitely not a single me effort. So,
another piece of news, which I thought was really, really cool, MTV Brazil. So we are really excited. We're partnering with MTV Brazil, who's going to be announcing the nominees for their annual award show tomorrow at 11 a.m. Brazil local time, right here on Clubhouse. This is so cool. I was hearing about this internally. This is like the first time a major award show has announced this kind of news on Clubhouse. And hopefully there will be a lot more of that to come. But that's 11 a.m. Brazil local time tomorrow here on Clubhouse. So follow Clubhouse Press Room Club and tap the bell if you want to listen in tomorrow. I think that's 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Is that right? I think that's right. And that's it on the company front. And so let's jump into product and then questions. We had a big release this past week where we put out a number of different things. The first thing was club simplification. We were all holding our breath, hoping that there weren't massive surprises there. I know we had a few little hiccups, but overall, I was happy with how few hiccups there were, and people seem really happy with the changes. So for anyone who doesn't know, clubs are a really, really important part of Clubhouse, right? It's a big part of the way that people come together here. And we wanted to make some changes based on all the feedback that we received from the club admins over the past year or so, to kind of set them up to be successful in the future. We wanted to simplify them, and we wanted to make them easier for everyone to manage. So if you go to our release notes that are in the, if you tap in your profile, then tap on the settings, then tap on what's new, that's where the release notes live. You can also go to our blog, blog.clubhouse.com, because we did a blog post about this. But the TLDR is that we eliminated club followers. We merged them with members so that you could have one relationship to a club. You are a member of that club. If you're the admin of a club, you can make that membership open so anyone can join, or you can make it by approval, meaning you individually approve members, people can apply to join. And the second thing that we did is we created a new role called leaders, which is in between a club admin and a club member. It's a small group of trusted people within a club that the admin of the club really gives special status to say, like, you're a trusted member of this community, and I would love your help running it. And so leaders can start rooms within that club. They can schedule events on the calendar for that club. They can't edit the club settings. They can't edit the club name. They can't add or remove members, but they can set up events. And when you go to a club profile, you can now see who the admins are, who the leaders are, who the members are. If you're a club admin, that'll show up on your profile as well. You can search your club list to find people really quickly. We made a bunch of smaller changes like that, but those are the two big things that we roll out. And we mention this like every time we've talked about it. We're really committed to making sure that this is a smooth transition for all of the club admins out there. So there's an FAQ that you can access from the release notes if you have questions about it. And please just get in touch with us if there's anything that we can help with when it comes to making sure your migration goes the way you want it to go. So that was the big thing that we rolled out this past week on Tuesday. Other things, you can now see who's online directly from the back channel. And there's a button where you can start a room with them directly from the back channel. So say you're messaging with your friends, you can see your friend is online, you can tap the little plus room button and you can pop into a live audio room with them directly from the back channel. And that's available for both one-on-one chats and also group chats. Another thing is you can now archive messages. This was like one of the most requested features we've had since we launched the back channel. When people get a message, they want to be able to hide it or archive it. So on Android, you tap and hold to archive the message. On iOS, you swipe. We tried to just mirror the conventions of the platforms. And you can access your archived messages anytime if you go to the main back channel tab and then tap the ellipsis at the top right. You can view all your archive chats, but hopefully that'll clean up your inbox for you. We made some more improvements to notifications. So a while back, a few weeks back, we made some changes that reduced the volume of notifications that you get on average by something like a third, without impacting room visits for creators. We managed to detect the ones that people weren't tapping on, and we just stopped sending those. And we did another wave of improvements that reduced it by another 18%. So our goal is to make it so that you keep getting fewer and fewer and more relevant notifications every week on Clubhouse. And every time you get one, it's one that you're excited to get. And so we rolled those out on both platforms with more improvements to come. And then on Android, we rolled out a language selector. So we try to infer what languages you speak and what language a specific room is in, but it's not perfect. And this is a particularly acute problem on Android because a lot of our users outside of the US are on Android, and in places like India, there are a lot of different languages that people speak. And so we added an explicit language picker on Android where you can say, only show me rooms in these languages. We plan to roll that out on iOS as well, but we want to roll it out on Android first and sort of collect feedback, understand how it works, and then plan to roll that out on iOS as well in the future. But all of that stuff should be live to you if you're on the latest version of the app that went out this past Tuesday. So coming up, we've got a bunch of stuff that I'm really, really, really excited about. We probably won't have another release until next week at the earliest. We go in kind of 2-week cycles right now. And we're aiming to get some stuff code complete by the end of this week and push it out the week after. We'll see how that goes. We're coming in hot, so it's possible it could slip a little bit. But look for a new big release in the next week or two. Details to come on that. I won't go into too much detail on the specifics there, but it's a lot of stuff that we're very excited about. And with that, why don't we jump into Q&A?
Let's do it. So as longtime listeners will know, recently we've had some big updates, so we've been trying to tackle questions related to those updates up front. So I want to jump into some club updates questions, and then we'll go with our regular questions that have come in. So on clubs updates, have a few for you. So one is around the new join feature. So someone wrote us, hey, I love the recent changes for followers and members to just members, by the way. I've applied to join a couple of clubs that are set up where you have to now apply. How will I be notified if I get accepted as a member? where would this show up in terms of a notification in the app? If not, could you add something that would let us be able to quickly see this?
So I believe that when you're accepted as a member, you get a notification in your activity feed. But Rohan, do you know if that is accurate?
I think that's the way it should be, but I slacked our team just to confirm that. But if that's not the case, we will fix it. But I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Okay, if anyone on the team knows the answer to this and they are listening right now, hit us up in the back channel and let us know, and we will give real-time updates to that question as soon as we get them.
Okay, about the new club role badges. Can you make a new badge for admins and a different badge for leaders that would show up inside the room? What are the badges on the profile next to the clubs?
Ooh, okay. That's cool. So two different questions there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the second part first. The
Yeah.
badges on the profile next to the clubs indicate whether you are an admin or a leader for that club. Is that right? Do they have both admins and leader roles?
So I believe it's just one badge type, but that being said, again, we might just need
Oh,
to
no, there are two. I see one on yours. I knew you are a leader in the Indian Startup Club.
Oh, it's just the color difference you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's just
actual
color difference.
badge is the same, but yeah, the colors are different.
Okay, so so right now when you go to someone's profile and you see the clubs that they're a member of, if they have a little green sparkle badge, that means they're an admin of that club, and if they have a blue sparkle badge, it means they are a leader of that club. And then the second question is, could you show those badges from within the room? I think that's a really cool idea, but we haven't done that yet. The hard like the question there is, how do you make it so it's not confusing, and how does it tie to the moderator badge, right? Like, do you have like two different badges if I'm a club admin or leader and a mod? Do you make it so that if you're an admin or a leader, you're automatically a mod, which will allow them to help manage the rooms in their club? That was there's kind of a lot of depth to that question. And also, there are a bunch of things that we would like to show within the room, but there's limited real estate there. You don't want to clutter it too much. Like, we had a few people who said they wanted to have um, the flags, the country flags that we had for the Olympics show up all the time, and I'm like, yeah, those are awesome. I love seeing them. That's so interesting. But is it the most important thing we could use that space for? I'm not really sure. So I think it's a cool I think it's a really cool idea. But there's some complexity to sort out there. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to have that evolve. I love the idea of just empowering people as club leaders
Mm-hmm.
to manage their rooms and giving them the power to do that. And so I really like the spirit of it. We just need to work on those details.
Since the update, I noticed that anyone can create club rooms since they are now all members of my club. How can we change this setting?
So if you go to your club page and you tap on the club settings, there is an item where you can allow all members to create rooms or not allow all members to create rooms. So it's just one of the settings. We need to build out we're going to need to do a rev on that to clean it all up, because it's all through an action sheet right now, like a built-in iOS component. But it's a toggle. You can just say, like, let members create rooms or don't let members create rooms.
All right, here's a good one. How else are you planning to change or add features to clubs going forward? This seems like the best way to manage a community right now, but there are still more controls needed. And I say it's a good one because I think it's a broad question.
I know. Well, maybe I can throw this out to the group. Like, what are some of the things that you have heard people want most from clubs? Like, what were the next wave of changes that people really want? And if
You know,
people in the
one of the
audience have
things I'm going to
ideas, hit
say.
us up in the back channel too.
I was going to say, you know, one of the things I'm going to say, which I know is not.
Collaborations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So for everybody who's listening, like the ability to do a club collaboration where one room is hosted by, two clubs at once, for example. And we've seen a lot of use cases of people already doing this, but they just want to actually be able to attribute to both clubs. So that's a big thing for sure.
Yeah, I
And
really want that. I really want that one. The annoying thing is that one's a lot of work given the way our system is architected
yep.
right now. And so we'd have to not do a lot of other features or not prioritize a lot of other features if we wanted to prioritize that one.
What else,
Um,
Steph?
what else,
Rohan?
Steph?
What was that, Anu?
No, I was just saying what
What other club
else?
features do you think we want?
I think just more management tools, sort of, that could be anything from making it easier to, I mean, I've heard from a lot of people, and Paul, you and I discussed this week actually on Slack, being able to, while you're in a room, be able to send a broadcast message out to everyone in the club, sort of almost like club announcements via back channel. But I know that that poses some risks, but I've heard that a lot.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that. Within a room, letting the mod do it, and then within a club, letting the admin do it. The thing that Steph and I were talking about is, okay, if we did that, where would the message go? Would it be in the main inbox or the request tab? And if it's in the main inbox, you have to be thoughtful about spam and how you would manage that, right? Because if you give one person the ability to message hundreds of thousands of people, suddenly you can get a whole lot more incoming. And then, does it badge the inbox? Does it badge your app icon? That's the type of stuff that we need to be pretty protective of. So we just need to figure out the right way to do it.
Yep.
Um, so I guess the question is like, how are we planning to change your ad features to clubs going forward? I think it's really based on the feedback that we hear. Like I hear the club collaboration one loud and clear. Ones that we had heard before were the ability to search for members and to auto approve members. So like I'm glad that those are there right now. I think a lot of the ones that we naturally think of are the in-room things, like the one Steph was mentioning, and also the ability to post a link to a room. A lot of people want that, but I think the biggest thing that we're thinking about right now is really just distribution for people that are looking to build a community or build an audience. How do we make sure that the right people within Clubhouse and outside of Clubhouse can hear about it? Because there's so many people out there that would like to join these things, but like if you have a club about bluegrass or like some some niche topic, how do we put that in front of the right people here? Because we have so many people on Clubhouse, and whatever you're interested in, I guarantee there are a lot of other people in Clubhouse who are interested in that, and a whole bunch of people around the world not yet on Clubhouse who are interested in that. So I think that's our top priority, honestly, is helping you get connected to those people so you can consistently grow your audience every week if that's what you want to do.
All right. Leads into a great question related to back channel, but also related to groups and clubs. So I'd love to use a feature that automatically adds a temporary back channel of all the moderators in a room, even if moderators change within an ongoing room.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So if people don't know, there's actually a feature right now. If you're in a room and you're speaking, and then you tap on the back channel icon, and then you go to start a new thread in the back channel, the default will be that all of the people who are on stage with you will be at the top of the list. So I can swipe over to bring the back channel in and go to compose a message, and then tap Rohan, Anu, Steph. They're at the top of the list. So that's how we do it today. Now the question is, I think this person is saying they would like one that automatically creates a temporary back channel of all the mods in the room, even if the mods change. So if someone takes away your mod status, you
You
are
could,
no longer in the group.
yep.
If you leave the room, you are no longer in the group. If I end the room, is the message now ephemeral? Like it's not part of my history?
Well, that's what the question sounds like, but I think that's not the most important. I think it's mostly just like having that group up and running quickly, rather than having to create it and continue to add and remove people.
I like that. Okay, so you create it quickly. Anyone who's a mod gets added to it, and then I mean, I guess you could just do it that way. You could manually add more people if you wanted to, but like if you make someone a mod, they're automatically added to the channel.
Yep.
I think it's a cool idea. We've thought about stuff like this, and we just haven't rolled that out yet. Maybe that's the next version of it.
I
All
doubt
right.
you'd want that ephemeral though. I mean, I know
Yeah.
that that's what the question's suggesting, but like there's so many things that happen in the back channel that you want to save, and either it's like a note for next time or hey, let's follow up with. I don't think you'd want that ephemeral, or at least I wouldn't if I was moderating.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
All right. So clubs updates, back channel updates, big recent ones. We'll continue to get questions. We will continue to address them. But for now, I want to go to discovery questions and general questions. So actually, Paul, I'm going to give you another one that you're going to enjoy. This one's actually broad. So, people who've been listening in frequently, they know we talk about some things regularly. So they said, how do you expect to scale intimacy? What does this mean? Paul mentions this a lot.
What does this mean? I love that.
Ooh. Okay. Voice is the oldest medium.
This is we make jokes about this internally. That's
Okay,
Paul referencing.
9:37 now. Okay. All right, I'll try and be concise. I think that I'm trying to say it in a way where I'm not like quoting myself and making fun of myself. I really think that part of what makes Clubhouse special is the ability to have meaningful conversations and to connect with people as humans. And part of that is just because voice is great, right? Like you don't have to worry about what you look like or how messy your house is. It's really lightweight. It's low stress. You can hear people's emotion. You can respond to people in real time. Like that's part of it, right? Another part of it is the network structure where we've tried to design the thing so that no one can speak at you without your permission. So so it's the default is that if you are hosting a room and you don't want someone in the room, then they can't join. If you don't want someone on stage, then they can't come on stage. Like that, when we say creator first, like that's really what we mean is that if you created the room, you're in control, and that makes it so that it's not a place for dunking on people and trolling people. It's a place where you can come in there and have just good conversations with people, right? And the when you think about scaling, like when we think about scaling Clubhouse in the early days, it was an invite based platform, and we never wanted it to be an exclusive place. Like we always wanted to build Clubhouse for everyone. We only had it go through invites because we wanted to make sure that we could scale that intimacy and scale that community and scale the back end and the technology, honestly, when it was just a couple of us here. Um, and but the vision was always to open it up to everyone. So the question is, if you have the whole world on Clubhouse, how do you make it so that you can still have intimate conversations? You can still have meaningful conversations. You can still find your people and find your communities and speak in a way where you're gonna where you can be authentic, and if you want to talk with other experts on a topic, you can talk with other experts on a topic. If you want to have an intimate conversation with some friends, you can do that. If you want to have a fireside chat, you can do that. And that's really what we mean is like as we grow, we want to make sure that you can always still have those authentic, often small, often intimate conversations. And the way that we do that is by empowering you as moderators of rooms and as admins of clubs to those uh, create those containers, right? Like a room is really a container. Like Clubhouse it's just filled with millions and millions and millions of amazing people, and you can create a little container and say there are only going to be these 3 people in this room, or these 50 people, or these 100 people in this room, and you control that. And if you want to have a more persistent container for a set of people that you've sort of picked, then that's what a club is. And I think that's really important, right? That's really, really, really important. We want Clubhouse to grow from being a small community of beta testers like it was in the early days, and grow beyond that to become a global network of many different communities, many of which are porous or semi-porous, and most of which are connected to other communities. So you can discover new groups and new rooms and new clubs and new communities and go from group to group. But you can also deepen the friendships and deepen the relationships that you have within a room or within a club. That's basically what we mean by it.
I have to laugh because Lila Danella, who is probably our queen of intimacy here on Clubhouse, she sent me a back channel.
Yeah, that's not what we mean by scaling intimacy.
No, but actually, this is what she said. She said this is exactly what you mean, because it's not, intimacy isn't relegated to sex. And in order for us to thrive, Paul is speaking my language. Intimacy is everything that we do. I was like, yes, Lila, go. Thank you,
Oh, I
back
love
channel.
that.
I know, I do too. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, more to come. Please keep sending us the vision-oriented questions. I think it's actually quite nice to pepper them in between the specifics. Okay, so let me give you some quick hits. Would it be possible to get a separate notification for when someone pings you into a room? I follow over 1,000 people, and this is the only notification that really matters to me. Thanks for your consideration. The team is doing a great job.
So in your notification settings, what you can do is you can do a lot of things. You can, for anyone who doesn't know, we basically view ourselves as having two goals. Like, Clubhouse is a live service, so, and there are crazy things that happen, amazing things that happen all the time. And if you missed it, you missed it. And so it's really important that you use notifications, because otherwise the service doesn't really work. But we want to make sure that you don't get annoying notifications, right? That you don't get ones that aren't relevant to you. And we've made really good progress there over the past couple months. There's a lot more progress to be made, but we kind of view ourselves as having two goals. One is get better and better and better at learning what types of notifications you like getting and what types you don't like getting, and only send you the former. And the second job that we have is to give you all of the controls that you need to tell us what types of notifications you want to receive if you are sufficiently motivated to do so. And so if you go to your profile and go to your settings, you can pause notifications till tonight or tomorrow morning or next week. You can hit a toggle that says send me fewer notifications, and we'll up the relevance bar and we'll start sending you fewer notifications. And you can also control what types of notifications that you want to get. So you could say only send me like messages and pings, I think, are grouped together. So if you want to do that, you could just get those if you want to just get those. And also, every time you follow someone, you can say, you can tap the bell to the left of the follow button and say, always notify me about this person. They're super interesting. I always want to get notified if they ever talk. Never notify me about this person, which means like I never want to get notified when they're speaking. I want to see their rooms to my feet, but I never want to get notified when they're speaking, or just defaults to sometimes. And then every time there's an event that you want to attend, you should tap the bell to RSVP, and that tells us to send you a notification and just lets us know to that this is an event that people are interested in attending. So those are the controls that you have right now. I don't know if this person wanted to get some room notifications, but mostly pings and DMs, then what they could do is toggle send me fewer notifications and just keep their settings as is. If they only want to get pings and DMs, then they could change their notification settings to say only send me those ones. So that's what we have at our disposal right now. And if people have other thoughts for deeper controls they would want around this, just let us know, because these things are going to constantly evolve and get better.
Okay, would it be possible to add a search feature on the buddy list section? Would love to be able to find specific friends and quickly jump into rooms that they are already in.
That's a good idea. It doesn't apply to new users. It doesn't apply to as many people because you build your friend list over time, and that's really just like they're talking about the sidebar. So if you go to your hallway and you swipe left to right, you'll see the what they're calling the buddy list, and they want to be able to search that. Yeah, we should definitely have that. And the other thing that we should do is rank it so that the people you are most likely to want to join in a room or start a room with are at the top. And we have a bunch of signal that we could use for that. And so you should expect that we're going to do more ranking there over time. And we should definitely add search as well.
All right, popular request here, but a little nuanced. Hey all, what is the possibility of creating or enabling a feature where you're invisible only in the hallway? This would keep those in the hallway from knowing what rooms I'm in, but leave me visible within the room, just so I may not want, colleagues or family seeing that I'm in a room, but still preserving letting the creator know inside.
Oh,
I
that's
feel
really
like they
interesting.
preempted this. They preempted this with the creator first lens, knowing that might help the case.
Totally. No,
Yeah.
that's actually really,
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never heard that request, and I've never thought of that. That's very interesting
Mm-hmm.
because it does solve that problem. Um, I thought they were going to ask like total incognito mode.
No,
I
which we
think,
have had before, yeah, but this is, I mean, it still makes it harder for people to discover rooms that you're interested in, but I think it helps you individually.
yeah, that I guess that is the downside. But if you don't want that to be visible, then it shouldn't be, So I guess the complexity there is just figuring out, is like communicating how that works and like how broadly applicable is that, and then how do we feel long term about I mean, incognito mode doesn't feel like the right way of putting it, but like the reality is, as Clubhouse gets really big, rooms are going to be so big that you're not going to be able to see everyone who is in there, right? So like, um, at some point there's going to be an expectation that or when people record their rooms and they share them after the fact, they don't have the expectation that they're going to be able to see everyone in the room. So I guess the question is like, do we do something like that now, or do we try and figure out, or sort of like plan ahead for the day when rooms are so big that expectation of the creator is that they actually can't see everyone who's in the room, and then think about full, you know, anonymous listening or incognito listening in that context. So I don't know. I love that suggestion. I've literally never heard it. I've literally never thought about it. I probably need to think about it more. But we really do like that. We like the idea of being able to go into a room without worrying about getting called up on stage, or being able to join a stage without worrying about notifying all of your followers if you have a ton of followers. So I think that I think that yeah, I love the suggestion. We got to go back to the team and talk about it.
All right. Any way you can give us a clear update on the discovery work and hallway algorithm? I'm still having a little bit of a tough time curating my hallway recommendations based on who I follow and what clubs I'm a part of.
This, I guess I
This is
can't.
a very big question.
It's a really big question, and it's like the core of the service, and it's something that we're talking about and working on every week. And so, what we would really like to get Clubhouse to is we would like to get it to the point where when you join, we do a really good job of showing you creators you'd like to follow, clubs you would like to join, based on who you follow, who invited you, what your interests are, what country you're in, all that sort of stuff. And then we get you to the point where you've got a really healthy follow graph early on, and then we show you a really good hallway where every time you open the app, you see, um, okay, these are rooms with the people I follow that I recognize. If there aren't enough rooms for me right now, here is how I start a new room with my friends and get a conversation going. Or here's how I can go explore rooms from people I don't follow, or follow some more creators that I'd really like to know about based on all those factors. So I can't give a single update because this is something where our work is never done, and it's just always going to get better and better and better, and it's really 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 top of mind for us. We're hiring a bunch of people in this area. We're like literally like in Figma today working on designs for this thing. We're like building it over the coming weeks, but we're going to be building it 5 months from now and 5 years from now. This is never done, and I like just know that this is very, very, very top of mind for us, and like it's just going to keep getting better every week.
All right. I'm going to skip a question on club co-hosting because we spontaneously covered that.
Okay.
And ask a question around programming. So, will there be a way to get featured by Clubhouse for a show or event? Do you currently feature trending rooms or rooms with specific creators?
So so I'm wondering how that would work. Would this be like, yeah, I'm not really sure whether they're talking about like editorial or paid featuring or what sort of stuff they're thinking through. But let me tell you how we think about it generally. We try to detect um, what rooms people are enjoying based on things like the room retention rate and other stuff like that, and sort of that gets factored into the algorithms. But our algorithms take into account lots and lots and lots of different things. Regarding editorial, I do think that that's a really interesting area. Like, I think that if we know that you're interested in these topics and we have reason to believe there's some really high quality room in that topic, or like we only have a single hallway, should we have hallways for like featured shows and things like that? I mean, probably like that'd probably be something that would be useful. I think there are a lot of things that humans can do that algorithms don't always catch up to. I think when people have a special show that they want to put on, they're bringing on some big guests, they'll often contact us at partnerships@clubhouse.com. And Steph and the team will work with them on, supporting them and making sure that the show is great and helping like helping with all aspects of it, production, promotion, that sort of stuff. So if you ever have a special event you want to put on, like please reach out to us there. We obviously have like constrained resources, but we'll do the best we can there. So that's another one where it's like it's constantly evolving. If you have something special you want to put on, please let us know. We are like, our algorithms take into account rooms that are like retaining people really well and that are trending. We've tried to incorporate more and more topic-based signals recently. So yes, in many different ways, but there's not like a single clean answer to that either.
All right. And another highly requested, or some version of this highly requested, could you make it possible to share a clip from our shows to our profiles or to other platforms? Since we can't host rooms every day, it'd be helpful to be able to give people an example of what types of conversations we run and to promote to our audience.
I love that idea. We often talk about like informing the tap. If you're trying to decide whether to join a club or follow a creator, what information can we give you to help you understand what it's going to be like, and how often do they host rooms, and do people that you follow them? And I think having previews of it would be amazing. And I bet we will do something like that. I would love to do something like that. And the first time I really saw how powerful it could be is, Steph, when you were doing the creator first stuff and you put together a blog post with a bunch of like clips from the shows. I'm like, wow, that's super helpful. That's like really powerful to be able to hear them and listen in. So we don't have anything specific there on the roadmap, but like I would like to do that, and I bet we will do that.
Yeah, and I think I tack on to that request that not just for the
Mhm.
creator, but also for the listener, because I think the same thing, we talk about this a lot, or we did early days. We keep moments and we want to share them. Like I often refer to it as the ticket stub, but I really love the idea of being able to quickly pull something, obviously with the permission or sort of consent of the creator, but to be able to share what amazing things we hear in these rooms, both as a listener and a creator.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, I'm gonna give you 3 more. Have you
Rapid
considered
fire, rapid fire. I got him.
have you considered creating a way to save our PTRs or previously used profile pictures?
Oh, I just add them to my favorites folder of my phone. So, okay, for anyone
I
who
guess
doesn't
I'm
know,
wondering if this is
Paul's
like
pro tips.
no, I'm wondering if this is like to actually be publicly displayed or just easily accessible. I think that'd be 2 different versions, but
oh, no, I haven't. No, so I don't know about the latter. Um, but if you just want it for quick access for you, so for anyone who doesn't know, one of my pro tips is if you tap and hold on your profile photo at the very upper right of the screen, and then let go when you're in a room, it'll go straight to your camera roll. And what I do is, if I have photos like my just listening one, when I want to go into a room and just give people a heads up that I'm just listening, like I add it to my favorites album of my phone so I can always quickly access it. The other one, not a rapid fire question. That's a longer one.
All right. Hey, do you know when a Clubhouse Town Hall will be held for Mandarin speakers, users, and creators?
Ooh, no, Clubhouse is not available in mainland China, and so I guess for that reason, it hasn't been as high on our, as on our radar. But like, I imagine we actually do have a big community of Mandarin speakers around the world. So no, I don't know, but like I feel like that's something that we should look into because it's something that we kind of assumed.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it's an interesting question because, we've done it by countries, but we've also found, for example, when we were doing it in Europe, that like we did a German-speaking town hall that was across several countries. So I think it's interesting, maybe something for us to think about around like countries versus languages to
yeah,
support.
maybe if there are people in the community who want to help with that or who have thoughts on that, please shoot us a note. I assume international@clubhouse.com
Yep,
is the right way to do that.
yep, that
Yeah,
works.
that sounds amazing.
All right, one more question, somewhat related. So, will the government ever block any accounts of users, or under what circumstances might that happen? And I think the broader question is like, does government have access to accounts?
Yeah, so our teams are the only people with access to our systems. They're the only ones who can remove content. They're the only ones who could suspend users. Governments do not have access to take these sorts of actions. What they can do is they can make legal requests of us through the proper channels to ask us to remove content that they believe if they believe it's illegal. And so we have a process for that and carefully evaluate. We would carefully evaluate any requests that we get against the law and our policies, which are all visible in our terms of service. And as a law-abiding company, we're going to comply with the laws and the companies in which we have operations, but we'll also push back if we believe a request is invalid. And all of this stuff is spelled out very clearly in our policies.
That's it. We have 2 minutes. You think we should try to sneak in pro tips?
Ooh, let's see.
If we really want to end on time, we should just do requests for shows.
um,
How about
We
pick your
did hear
favorite pro
2
tip?
pro tips from Paul.
but yeah, we'll just skip them. We'll just do requests for shows.
Okay.
Although
Do
I
you
will say
have
the
any
best one
requests
that
for
you gave
shows?
that I didn't know. I don't think I knew this. The pro tip about the back channel that when you open it, the first people at the top are people that you're sort of co-hosting with. I thought that was a great one. So just to reiterate, that was a
Oh
great one.
yeah, that one is it's quite handy. And it works really well. You can just tap 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 and it makes the capsules and the whole thing works quite well.
All right. On to our request for shows then.
Okay, request for shows. I mean, I know I've said some version of this before, but I just really 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 love how Clubhouse is a place for breaking news. I've just been maybe I've just been seeing more and more and more of this, but it's also such a good fit for the medium. And I know I've said some version of this before, but it's not just the latest on COVID or Afghanistan. Like if you look at what happened this week, it could be the drama around Jeopardy or OnlyFans or a major sports trade. Like the idea that um, it's not about breaking the news. Like you go there to get the breaking news. It's you go there to discuss it and to be with other people who care about it. It's also one of the things that really unites people. Like a lot of times, if you want to have an in-depth discussion about some topic that you're an expert in or something you're super passionate about, you need a club. You need like a friend group. You need like a really curated set of people. Breaking news, it's almost more like weather and traffic. It's like something that unites people where anyone can talk about it, and like someone's like, oh, I just saw this article or they just mentioned this, and oh my gosh, update, just heard this. And it's when stuff happens in the world, you want to talk about it, you want to talk about it, you want to be with other people that want to talk about it. So I would love to see more of that. Like every time something happens in the world, I'd love to see people starting a room about it, because those rooms, I mean, the rooms tend to do really well too, right? They tend to, and like I've noticed that I kind of will open the app more often, and when I open the app and I see some breaking news, some headline thing at the top of my feed, I like love it. I love it. So I'd love to see just more and more of that.
Yeah, I was just going to add on that. I mean, with the Afghanistan news, and, I know there was like a devastating earthquake in Haiti recently, and, there have been some great discussions around that. So we would love for, more people, whether you're on the ground or part of an aid organization or a journalist, just like discussing some of these, really like fun and interesting conversations, but also the tough stuff that's happening locally or around the world.
100%. 100%. All
And to
right.
bring it back, that this just sounds a lot like ways to bring people together to talk at scale. Oh, scaling intimacy. Yeah, that's right. Okay, right. Just go ahead.
Okay. 10:01, just barely over. Lots of great other conversations happening right now, much more interesting than me. What do we have? Justin Higgins is hosting Pakistan's former ambassador to the US for a conversation about the future of Afghanistan and the Taliban in Politics and Media 101 right now. So keep an eye out for that, or go search and find Politics and Media 101 and follow them, or join that club, I guess you would do now, and that room will show up in your hallway.